Hello. Uh, just to start, let's review over here. A group of cells working together form tissue, like muscle tissue. A group of tissue working together form organs. So if I have a bunch of tissue, like muscle tissue, working together, they form an organ like a heart. A group of organs working together form an organ system. So if I had like my heart and my lungs and some other things, that would be the respiratory system. Today, we're going to talk about viruses. So, just a quick overview of what we see here. You're going to click on this virus to watch a TED Ed video, and then you're going to answer some questions about that video. The questions are also here, and then after this presentation, you're going to click here for questions on this presentation. So I'm going to go forward. There's TED Ed questions, and there are the questions for this presentation. All right, so viruses. The first thing you need to know is that viruses are non-living. They're hereditary materials surrounded by a membrane, but they are not living things. So in order to do any damage, let's say, they need to multiply. And in order to multiply, they need to find a host cell living inside of an organism that they can attach to. Some examples of diseases that are caused by viruses are chickenpox, measles, cold sores, colds, the flu, and AIDS. So, just to reiterate, a virus is non-living, but it does have hereditary material. When it gets inside a body, it needs to make copies of itself, so it kind of attaches to a host cell, tricking the host cell, because remember, the cell membrane won't let anything in that would be harmful. So it has to pretend that it's something else or camouflage with something else in order for the cell to let it in. It makes copies of itself, and then the virus destroys the cell, the host cell. Now, there are some viruses that you will get or that people can get that are latent. A latent means that they're inactive. So the virus is in you and it's kind of sleeping. It's inactive until something either inside your body or outside of your body acts as a stimulus and wakes it up. An example of that is a cold sore. So people have cold sores on their lips, but they're not there all the time because that is a latent virus. So it lies kind of dormant, asleep in your body until something wakes it up. And then you can tell when it's active because it is destroying cells in your lip. So you can tell it's there. How do viruses affect organisms? Well, first of all, viruses don't just affect humans, they affect almost all living organisms plants, animals, humans, fungi. But viruses are specific. They're like pieces of a puzzle, and that's why I have this here. So a certain virus will only fit or attach to a certain cell. So there are viruses that plants get because they have a certain shaped uh, cell that we won't get. The virus might try to come in our body, but it won't attack. It won't attach to any host cells in our bodies. So a virus cannot move by itself either. It can be carried by the wind and maybe attached to a tree or a plant or something like that. We can inhale it. If you have any open sores or wounds or open surfaces like your eyes or something like that, the virus can get in. But it doesn't walk, it doesn't crawl, it doesn't fly. It needs assistance in every way. It needs assistance to get into your body and it needs assistance to multiply. Treating and preventing a viral disease. So antibiotics are used to treat bacterial infections, but there is no cure or a treatment for a viral disease. There is no cure for a virus. We can try to prevent it, and we can have medicine that might help ease some of the symptoms, but basically your body has to work through it and fight the virus off. There is no cure for a virus. Ways to prevent viral diseases: there are vaccines, improved sanitary conditions, separating people with the disease, kind of like we're doing now with the social distancing, controlling animals that spread the disease, um, or insects, right? So there were yellow fever was caused by mosquitoes, and they started spraying for the mosquitoes and killing the mosquitoes. So they controlled that disease. They completely wiped it out by controlling the insect that was spreading it. All right, so now we're going to talk about natural immunity and vaccines. Some people have a natural immunity to viruses, and it's not necessarily because the virus won't go into their body, but it's because when the virus does, their cells very quickly make these things called interferons. They're proteins that are like a shield that protect the cell. So the infected cells recognize the virus right away. They start rapidly making these interferons, and then the infected cells quickly pass the interferons out to the uninfected cells. So now the uninfected cells have this special protection and immunity. So if a handful of cells are infected, but they quickly make this super interferon to protect the other cells and give it to all the other cells, those handful of cells will die, but all the rest of your cells will live and have immunity from this virus. The virus won't spread in your body. And like we said before, it's okay for your cells to die. Cells die all the time, and they renew themselves, or more are made. And lastly, we'll talk about vaccines. So a vaccine is actually a weakened virus that is injected into your body. So you take a weakened sample of the virus, you inject it in your body, and your body recognizes that that is something that doesn't belong here, and it starts to attack it. And in attacking it, your body will make the interferons and eventually make some antibodies, and it will keep it in storage. So the next time that you see the full-on virus, your body recognizes it right away, sends out those antibodies, and kills the vaccine. Do some people get sick from vaccines? I'm sorry, kills the virus. Some people get sick from vaccines? Yes, they do. But most people do not. It's a very, very weakened form of the virus. So your body is introduced to it and it knows what to expect. And it knows how to fight it off. All right. So that's it for today. Have a good day.